This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. If you've been around long enough to watch even a couple of my videos, you know I'm not one to mince words, especially related to Donald Trump, the simp, the unconditional coward who is now surrendering to COVID, giving up where it relates to protecting the American people from this virus. A virus which has now claimed the lives of over 225,000 Americans on its steady march toward 500,000, 500,000. Some of the models that are out there right now are predicting that we will, in the very first month or two of 2021, see victim upwards of 350,000. In the past 3 days, we have set records of new infections. The darkest days of the pandemic that we thought were in July, when all of us were on lockdown, strict lockdown, if you cared about your neighbors anyway, those have been surpassed. This last weekend, we witnessed greater numbers of new infections than since the beginning of this whole thing. And Donald Trump is afraid. He is a feckless coward who is doing nothing. He's had no plan since the very beginning and still has no plan. And the only reason that could be having no plan is that he doesn't care. Because even if he's not smart enough to come up with the plan on his own, he has the wherewithal and the resources to hire the best people to come in and implement a plan. Hell, he already has them on staff with Anthony Fauci and others in the core of our healthcare government agencies. And this weekend showed it. It proved it. He went on with 60 Minutes and expressed his childish nature, once again, by walking out on Lesley Stahl and complaining about her telling him he's going to ask tough questions. Now, I want to put this in context because while Americans are dying, while new Americans at record rates are testing positive for the coronavirus, he is complaining. The President of the United States of America is complaining about getting tough questions from a journalist. Watch this. As he's storming out like a child, like a petulant child, he calls Lesley Stahl wall. They want to talk about cognitive decline between these two candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and he doesn't know the name of the woman before whom he sits. The other thing here is, which is an obvious thing, is that the President of the United States should be ready and able to answer the toughest of questions. And not only that, a President of the United States should be asked the toughest of questions to get to the meat of the topics, to belay any concerns that Americans have about the competency of their president. Clearly, he doesn't pass the test. He needs the softballs he claims are being thrown to Joe Biden. And then his comment about without the media, my voice wouldn't get out there without social media because the media is unfair to me. Again, he's not a guy who works down at the loading docks. He's the President of the United States. Claiming that my voice would never be heard is nonsense. This is what he's doing while Americans are dying. This and golf. Next up is his racist chief of staff, Mark Meadows. And you know what? Before we played the Mark Meadows clip, people have claimed they speak to a moment in a congressional hearing where Mark Meadows claims to have a black or a grandson or a granddaughter of color, and that takes him out of the running of being a racist. Mark Meadows is a racist. Mark Meadows has been a birther from way back. Here are a couple of moments while campaigning for Congress talking about sending Barack Obama back to Kenya.
If you're sent to Congress, will you pursue some kind of investigation to find out whether or not this guy is really a citizen and entitled to those authorities?
Yes. I see it as, if we do our job from a grassroots standpoint, we won't have to worry about it. You know what? We'll send him back home to Kenya or wherever it is. We'll send him back home.
Well, it's good to be here with you today. I thank you so much for allowing me just a few minutes to talk with you and share a few things. But, it's interesting. When the more we find out, the more we realize how wrong the direction we're going. And so what we're going to do is take back our country. 2012 is the time that we're going to send Mr. Obama home to Kenya or wherever it is. We're going to do it.
So yes, Mark Meadows, Donald Trump's chief of staff, is a racist. So the racist went on with Jake Tapper, and this is where we found out unequivocally. They removed all doubt that we may have had about their intentions of actually dealing with coronavirus, of actually implementing a plan that's going to make you safer, that's going to make me safer, make our families safer. Watch this remarkable moment of him just admitting with his stupid mouth hole that they're not going to do anything about it.
So here's what we have to do. We're not going to control the pandemic. We are going to control the fact that we get vaccines, therapeutics, and other mitigation areas.
Why aren't we going to get control of the pandemic?
Because it is a contagious virus, just like the flu.
Yeah, but why not make efforts to contain it?
Well, we are making efforts to contain it.
By running all over the country, not wearing a mask?
Jake,
that's what the vice president's doing.
We can get into the back and forth. Let me just say this. Is what we need to do is make sure that we have the proper mitigation factors, whether it's therapies or vaccines or treatments, to make sure that people don't die from this. But to suggest that we're going to actually quarantine all of America, lock down our economy.
No one's saying that.
Well, they are. Joe Biden's saying that. He says lock everybody down. We're going to have a dark winter. We're going to have a dark winter.
That's what health officials say. That's what health officials say, that it's going to get worse.
No,
we
that's
have the
Joe
two
Biden's
worst days.
Jake,
let's be honest. Infections Friday and Saturday.
Let's be honest here. The health officials did not say dark winter. Those were Joe Biden's words.
He was quoting a health official. I think he was quoting William Haseltine.
When we look at the number of cases increasing, what we have to do is make sure that we fight it with therapeutics and vaccines, take proper mitigation factors in terms of social distancing and masks when we can. And when we look at this, we're going to defeat it, Jake, because we're Americans. We do that, and this president is leading while Joe Biden is sitting there suggesting that we're going to mandate masks.
First of all, appealing to patriotism is goddamn nonsense. We're going to defeat this, Jake, because we're Americans. What does our nationality have to do? What does our country of origin have to do with whether or not we're not going to get infected? That we're going to defeat this virus? We've proven by having the highest death rate, the highest infection rate of all countries, that that's not enough, Mark Meadows. And you've proven, sir, that you're not capable of confronting and combating this virus with the White House that is a super spreader location. Even this weekend, Mike Pence's staff, 5 members of Mike Pence's staff that orbit him closely, have come down with the virus, tested positive. And is Mike Pence the head of the coronavirus task force? Is he taking it seriously and taking the advice of the task force and quarantining himself since he's been in close contact with people who tested positive? No, he is not. He's going to continue to campaign and continue to come into close contact with Americans, possibly infecting them. We need better. We deserve better than this. A plan could have been put into place months ago. We're coming up on a year that the coronavirus has been a thing. The first case, I believe, was New Year's Eve in China. And here we are, coming up on New Year's Eve in a couple months. A year, no plan. And now we see that they didn't believe they needed a plan. Well, I can tell you what my plan is, which I actually executed this last weekend by voting for Joe Biden. To get someone in there who does value science and data and research and expertise in matters that are out of his particular scope. That is what we need. And we have a chance right now to not only put a nail into the coffin of the Donald Trump presidency, we have a very good shot of taking back the Senate. I mean, we are sitting on the precipice of an opportunity electorally right now. Texas is a statistical dead heat with room for undecideds to decide. I'd love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. Email me daily@dollemore.com. I know we can get this done, and I know most of you want to get this done. I would invite you to support my work here on YouTube. You can, for fewer than $2 a month, become a channel member. Click the join button there. You can buy some merch. I've got shirts that say "Be genuine," "Take care of one another," as I sign off my videos. All of that goes a long way to help support my work. Independent media, independent voices in the media are more important than ever. And you can take a part in supporting my work. Other than that, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.